Nice. So, hi Anna, welcome to our podcast, Dlife.hackers. It's a pleasure to be with you. We have known each other for a long time. We have never been in a live session, and also we have touched in the topic of education, but I guess it's the first time we will kind of deep dive into it. I gotta say to the people that is watching or that will watch in this session that Anita and I we have known each other for a couple of years, almost 10 years by now. And thanks to her, I decided to study education. Long time ago, special education, because she ignited my curiosity. So I'm really, I'm really excited about start this conversation. I'd like to make a short introduction about you. Anna is a wonderful human being. She has been not just a teacher, she has been an artist, an explorer of life. She has an adventure soul, and she's courageous to go through life in a way that she desires, that she feels more authentic to herself, and therefore I'm interested on her perspective on the topics we're gonna touch. But I would like to ask you first, like, what's your background on education? Like, how did you get here to start with?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Um, well, interesting question. I didn't know I was going to be a teacher or I was interested on education. I was looking for like being an artist or something like that before, and in that way, in that path, I decided to teach things that I liked. Um, when I decided that, I started teaching and I loved it. I was just in love. So then I was in the middle of a trip and I met a girl. I asked her what was her profession, and she told me she was a special educator. um, she was a teacher. Like, she told me about that career and that it's about teaching to everyone, and I was just surprised and very interested on that topic. So I decided to come back to my country. I'm from Colombia, and then I started to study and I just fell in love with education. I was a teacher before, as I told you. Um, but after that, I was, I don't know, in love. Because with like teaching, you kind of um, mm, open people's mind, or try to make them think more about things that they can do, or yeah, because sometimes like kids have like many ideas but they don't know that they are important, for example, or they don't know about any like some topics, and you kind of show them a little bit of it, and then kids are like, hey, I want to know about this topic. And so you say like, hey, go ahead, I don't know a lot about that, but go ahead, and their curiosity is amazing. So I just fell in love with it, and that's how I decided to like follow this path.
Okay, so of course we have started this live session, and as my first time, I completely forgot to say, well, my name is Son Nicolas. Her name is Ana Isabel. We both come from Colombia, actually from Medellin city. Well, I guess did you born in Medellin or where did you born?
No, I was born in Concordia. It's a town, a small town, like 2 hours and a half like from Medellin. This is Ramon, my cat.
I guess Ramon loved to be like
Yeah.
online as well.
So yeah, I'm not from the city. I'm not a city girl, to be honest. Right now I'm living in like close to Medellin in a rural area because I love the countryside. I mean, I like the city, but I prefer to be in the countryside, close to the nature.
I mean, if you have the chance to be there and to enjoy the comfort and the benefits of being in nature, while at the same time being able to do that thing that you love, I guess that's a blessing. That's a great opportunity.
It
But
is.
talking about that, I, I I was just going back to the past when we met each other long like 10 years ago. And yes, I do remember like you, not necessarily you look yourself as a teacher at that time, but you were interested in certain topics, and I kind of felt that you have this natural ability, as you were really good a student. Like you were somebody that liked to learn, but not necessarily the same way that as everybody does it. But you have your own approach to learn things, to spark your own curiosity, and I guess from that perspective, when you start sharing things with people, naturally, people were like, at least I remember kids or everybody around, when you start talking about certain topics, the way you did wasn't like, I have the truth. It's more like, here's something I see, I find interesting. Like, let me drive you on why I find this interesting, and let's see if you can connect with this topic. No, if there is something that naturally drives you to this topic, and you're really good at. So time after that, I wasn't surprised. Now, when you were starting to study education, of course, there are different paths to education. Like almost anything you have master, you have get into, you eventually you can start like sharing that with other people, and people can ask you like, hey, can you teach me this? That's a natural path to education. But when you decide to study education at the University of Antioquia, which is one of the best public universities that we have here, uh, why do you choose special education? Because from many other possibilities, you choose that one. So I'm wondering, what drive you to that path of alternative or special education?
Okay. In that career, I found out that you can get to people in different ways, many different ways. Um, like, for example, you can show a song that you like and it's talking about a topic, and someone is going to be interested on it, and that will open something like a world or a universe for that person. But maybe for other person in the same class, in the same, like in the same moment, it, it's just a song, right? And after you can show to a group like a painter, like a, yeah, like a picture or something, and it can open the like a universe or something to another person, but it's nothing for others. So what I found out in this career is that you can get to people in different ways and different ways to show information or to share with other people or to do to feel the knowledge. And that there is also like a kind of a colonization of knowledge. um, and it's something I'm interested in, and it's like thinking that every like intercultural knowledge, so that it's interesting to for example with kids, with my kids, with the kids that I'm teaching. Hey, let's talk about the we are talking about the beginning of the universe, right? So we are talking about the Big Bang, but also the religious, Catholic religious stories, but also the indigenous from America stories, but also the people from Africa stories about the origin of the universe. So what I say to them, because they ask me, is like, hey teacher, but what's the truth? And that's what you said before. And I'm like, I can't tell you what is the
Wait,
truth.
wait, wait, but let me stop you right there. Like, how you felt when a kid asked you, what is the truth?
Like, sometimes they ask me like, teacher, dragons did exist? and like, and I answered, I can't tell you if they did or not. It's, you choose if they did exist or not. I can't tell you. I don't have the tools to tell you that they did exist or not, because parents many times say like, hey, that doesn't exist, or that don't that didn't exist. But how do you know it? How do you actually know it? So for me it's like, I don't know, it's making more questions than answers. It's important in teaching. And I think that this career made me think that like it's more about teaching a truth or a path of knowledge. It's showing many, like many ways that you can learn or you can approach to a knowledge or to an information. So that I found that very interesting. For example, with sign language, I teach sign language to the kids, and they are not deaf, right? And this is very interesting for them. And I teach them how to write, and with their hands, and then it's for them to write the words. For example, it's more, yeah, it's simpler, more simple. Sorry.
I mean,
Yeah, it's easier.
that's pretty interesting. That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting because
Uh-huh.
sign language is like, I know it's like, I don't know if you can have sign language in different language. Like you can have sign language in for Spanish, sign language for English. Does the language actually change? Like the forms of the hands change as well, or it doesn't?
Yes, they do. There is an international sign language, but they just use it like in I forgot that name. Congress? No.
Okay, they use it when they're gonna meet a lot of people.
Yeah, an
Basically, in
international
an
thing.
international event where they made a lot of sign
And
language.
when they are studying at university, something that is related to older people from other countries, they learn it. But every country, not even for example, it's not the same sign language in Colombia or Venezuela or Ecuador or Peru, and they're very
Wow.
close. Like they're close countries, and it's
I
not the
mean,
same.
they talk the same language, no? All of us we
The
talk in
country,
Spanish, so
exactly, but they're not the same sign language because of it's different, how sign language is developed in every country.
would you mind to teach us something? Maybe just like hello, how you doing? Maybe in Spanish. I don't know if you know it in English as well with the sign language. I'm just very curious about how it is.
Well, they say that I'm not good at American Sign Language, but they say it's similar to Colombian one. But for example, there is a sign I like a lot, and it's I love you. So this is the letter I, this is letter L, and this is letter U. So I love you would be this. And when they do this, it's like I love you. But doing it like, yeah, that's it. I love you. That's it. And you can say hello. Hello.
I mean,
How are you?
when I'm seeing this form with the hands, it kind of remind me like some of how you call the characters, like the. I'm pretty sure the name is not characters, but people might excuse us. English is not our native language, so but
Mhm.
Japanese and Chinese like characters. Somebody, if they ever watch this, just let me know in the comments how you actually call those characters. But like what I remember when somebody was teaching me about what they mean, some of them they were like assembling certain things in nature or certain like images. They were like trying to recreate an image of a tree or of a horse, and that's why the shape was kinda something like that. So it's funny because when you are showing me that I love you, it's like you're combining kind of the letters, but with the fingers. But it's a funny way. It's how you put them together is actually pretty cool because then you can be like, yeah, I'm broken. I love you.
Yeah, yeah. There are some. For example, this one. Look, what is it? It's an animal.
It looks like what, like a bug or like a monkey. It's
It's a
your turn.
dinosaur.
It's a
Look,
dinosaur. No, with the long neck.
yeah.
Oh wow! How I missed that one. Can't believe it.
Don't worry. But yeah, kids love it. Kids just love it, and they learn how to say their names in like with letters in sign language, and that's so cool. So what I found out, it's like I can for example, they're very interested in Braille. Do you know Braille? Braille is the like those dots that blind people use to touch the written language. So it's like with points.
Okay, just a quick question about that. Like, does the streets, like, because I have noticed sometimes when you are walking around the city, the streets have different texture on the floors. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know if that's braille or that's kind of signs for blind people. Do you know anything about that? Like, is it related?
It is for them. It is for them. So they're going with the stick, and it's not Braille, but I don't know the name in English, to be honest. But they can feel it with this with the shoes and with the stick, so they can follow the path they need to follow. There are cities that are more adapted or more um accessible to people in general. But yeah, that's the path you need to follow, I think, to make like the world more accessible to everyone, and that we can just share in different ways.
And why do you think, or why kids love braille? Like,
Because it's like a code for them. So for example, once I just wrote their names in Braille, and I gave them the alphabet in Braille, and I said, "There is your name in one of those papers. Just you just need to um, found it, find it. You just need to find it." So they were like, "Wow, it's like a code," and they were after trying to to write all the words with that alphabet, and that was very interesting because if you see, it's just like opening the world and showing that there are many ways to read, to communicate, to think about the origins, and that's so interesting.
would you say that there is a path for provocative curiosity? I just came up with this term. I was thinking of what I remember about you and how did you approach certain topics, and you always manage the way to make things like more like you make curious people, like, no, you make people feel curious about the stuff, which is very, it's like, I can be very good at explaining something very clear. That's one thing that means people can easily follow what I'm saying, but to spark curiosity, it, it's not that flat. It's not like I guess part is a natural talent, but what would you say about how do you provoke curiosity? Because by giving the kids a code and saying like, well, there's a name here, find your name. It's like, whoa, like you could just go and explain it straightforward, like, yeah, this is your name, this is how you write this is how it works. But that approach of causing curiosity to them is remarkable. But I'm wondering, how do you see curiosity, and what do you think are the main ingredients to spark or ignite curiosity on kids and on human beings in general?
Okay. Interesting question. Well, I would say it's important to have like I don't know that word in English. Vínculo. Link? Is it? Like a link with their lives, that it's something that touched them. For example, their names, right? In this case. And also something that they don't know, that you know that they don't know about it. Like it's, hey, I want to know it. Like Braille, for example, in this case. So, making questions is very important. Don't give them everything. Like it's not an answer what education needs. It's more about making questions to themselves, because there are going to be many things that I don't know as a teacher, right? But they ask me sometimes things that I don't know, and I just say, "Hey, that's a good question. I don't know it," and go and look for it, and come here and tell me and teach me. And that's very, and yeah, I think it's it. That's it. Like link things or knowledge or information or questions to their lives, and also uh, kind of make questions or like give them seeds of things that are out of their close circle. So for example, I don't know, hey, there is a country where they believe in a god, or a goddess that is like an elephant. What do you think is it? Like, do you know which country is? And they will be like, what? Because it's not close to their culture, right? But it will like create in them like a question for that. I don't know.
So would you say that in that case, elephant is something close to them? Is something that they can relate to because they have seen the elephants at least either in the internet, or they have seen pictures of elephants, or maybe in a zoo. I don't know. And
Mhm.
then would you say that you will use that thing that they already know, which is an elephant, and they will say, like, do you know where does an elephant has become a god for the people around? Like, and
Sure.
then for them would be like, what, an elephant and a god? Like that. That's kind of the ingredients you are using. And even if, for what I understood from the previous example, the fact that you give them something personal that matters for them, like their name or something they like or they feel related to, which is what they know, and then you put something that they don't know, and you kind of say like, hey, find a path to connect the dots. Is you are pushing them towards something, because now they have one goal covered, and that's kind of an adventure on itself. That's what I'm getting from your proposal, curiosity. But now I'm curious about something. This is something like you have already or think about it when you were younger. This is something also that you learned when you were studying. Um, like, do people teach how to spark curiosity at university when you're studying a special education, or that's something you came with?
Mm, well, I think what university does is um, like planting seeds or making questions or showing you many paths. But experience with people, with kids, or yeah, people who you teach, it's what give you that, yeah, what at least to me it gave me uh, like this those thoughts, I think. But think,
So
because okay, you can.
you were cutting up.
Oh.
Sorry, you were cutting up on the conversation just before you were saying the first words, like, and at the end I just got like, oh, this is something I have gotten through the experience. So could you? come back to the first starting of the sentence and then go from there? Thanks.
Okay, yeah. I think that university give you many tools, and the good thing of like my university, for example, is that I could choose many paths. Um, so I could, for example, go to other schools or faculties and study, for example, how to teach English to children. And that's not one of my topics. I mean, that's not in my career. But I could also go to the arts school and learn something about history of arts, right? And I could choose that, and that would be part of my studies, but it's not part of my career. I know if uh, you get my point. Like that about university, that it shows you a lot of ways of like like you can take of learning different things and topics, and that's so interesting. But it's not that they give you the like this is the path to provoke, is it curiosity? But that's what they do. I think sometimes they say like, hey, this is what you have, you can choose. And then that's what experience gave me, I think, being with kids in this school, where I am, like right now. eh, it's like they are very curious, and they want to know many things, and I learned how to provoke that how to make them think further, I think. And because it's so open, this school, it's like kind of, it's not a traditional school. And so we are very like, we are like free to teach how we want. And yeah, I think experience, uh, like with them, with kids, because they are very curious, it's like natural. I don't know why we kind of lose a little bit that curiosity when we grow up. But yeah, it's like, feeling this kids thing and the experience, that what made me think about curiosity, I
Well,
think.
thanks for sharing that. Of course, like like I wasn't expecting an answer like, yeah, university teach you how to get people curious. However, great teachers, I guess, at the university kind of have integrating this already into the way that they kind of spark that or ignite that on you. And I guess that from your experience of feeling that, you have naturally come with a way to replicate that experience that helped you to others, also observing them and spending time with kids, like, because kids move so fast, like mentally they are growing, they are learning all the time, that you can quickly see the effects of the things you do, like with them. No, you can quickly like start noticing, like, if, because they are not like adults in the sense, like adults, we have now the natural ability that we have learned of, even if we are bored as fuck. I don't know if I can say that, but even if you are really bored at something, you kind of stand up there and like, okay, well, what the hell, like, I need to be here. Whatever reason. While kids, the moment they feel they lost their attention, their interest upon something, I guess their bodies start to behave different. They start to moving around. It's like they're very, in general. Of course, there might be kids, but for what I noticed in my experience with kids, they are like really authentic about that. It's like, yeah, with I know I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. No, they are very raw at certain times, depending on the kids, of course. But talking about the current times we live in, the age of really quick, how you call this, serotonin, um, incentives that we are looking to grasp or to get through social media, through the internet, through any uh, kind of interactions we have today a day, that make attention spark like way smaller than we used to have in general as a generation, make even harder
Yeah.
for many people, like to kind of connect with kids, because now they cannot force them with a stick, like you shut up and sit there. So now you cannot force them. And now if you just are about repeating information, AI will do 100 times a better job, for sure. Like AI will know way better than people regarding knowledge. So I guess it's just the ability, that human ability, to smell what makes other people connected. Like what makes a kid, like when you observe a kid, you can feel when the kid is kind of interested upon what you are saying or what you are bringing to the conversation. So this amazing human ability to perceive and to be able to adapt, to communicate the message into a way that a kid can experience and ignite their curiosity, is what gonna matter. Because if it's about knowledge, you can have a personalized tutor, AI tutor here, that will know everything they asked. So what will, like, why there will be a necessity for a human teacher there so far if it's only just giving knowledge? Well, still is that amazing ability that we have to connect with others, that we're gonna have to enhance, along with creativity. And I guess that we also might use these tools eventually, integrate those tools, of course, on our way. but but I'm finding a very interesting point on this conversation, which is, for me, the ability to spark curiosity, to incentivize that desire of learning, of experiencing, and to also provide kids the right environment to do so. It's what gonna matter. Rest, if it's only about knowledge and personalized knowledge, even AI will take over. Like, so it will be an interesting challenge to see the new teachers, the new generation of teachers and education, coming up with a different approach of the previous one, that which was not everybody was like that, but I remember many people just being there memorizing something and kind of forcing themselves to repeat that among the class, and forcing everybody, like, yeah, you gotta put this into your mind, otherwise you're gonna lose the test, otherwise you're gonna have a problem with your mom, and that's it. And of course, like we, I guess everybody at least experienced that once on our generation and in previous generations. So now it will be kind of a challenge, like how a teacher gonna really do the real job, which is to ignite that part. Like, so I find this conversation to be very important if we have the chance for future teachers watching, is like just to get this into their mind. Like, if it's just about knowledge, we're gonna be replaced.
Yeah,
Definitely. So
definitely.
I found this very important. Now, if you have this ability, now using the tools that will help you to personalize knowledge will be great, because you will have access to many more resources that you can just take out and kind of use for whatever are your needs. So, well, this live, I have no idea how 33 minutes passed already, and I have so much to unpack, which was the part that I also want to deliver to you. But I found it very, very important that we get access to listen to your experience, because curiosity is one of the most fascinating topics for me ever. Because I'm gonna share that before. Uh, I study special education as well. You remember? I start studying special education for two semesters, and the reason why I started to study special education is because you, out of the blue, came to me. We were talking, and you were like, "Wow, I'm trying to solve this math problem. Would you help me?" And I don't know if you knew like what effect that was going to have on me. Like I didn't thought about the study anything at the time, and then you give me that thing. I look at it, and my first impression is, there is something I know. Like, I know the word aliens, I know the word maths and numbers, but what is happening here, I do not know. Like, now is not an answer I can give straightforward. It seems I need to find how to connect the dots between the questions here. So I remember it took me like about 2 days or something like that to figure it out, to come up with an answer. And then when I came to you, I was like, what the hell, are you studying maths, or like what are you doing? You are no, no, no. It's a special education. And it's about a different approach to access and to communicate to all to humans that learn in different ways, and to explore that cognitive function that humans have with different perspectives. And I'm like, wow, it grabbed my attention straightforward so much that I decided to study, even when I in the past I lost a scholarship because I have no interest at all. You ignite that interest, that curiosity on me so much that I ended up studying it. So so I just gotta say that for the public. That's one of the main reasons why I want to start this podcast with you here, because you were an inspiration to me, and now to see the path you have been taking, uh, I just have so many questions. But I'm gonna propose you something. What if we stop right here, set up another time for a next session, and then on the next session we came up explore some other topics that we have around, and I have the opportunity to share with you the tools I have bring that might give you more resources along the path. What would you say? How does it sound?
That's good. I think we could do it. Sure.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anna, and for everybody watching. Like, I don't know, would you like to share the name of the project or the school so people also can learn about before we go, like what is the school or the type of school that you are teaching in that gives you that freedom?
Okay. The school's name is Creole. We call it in Spanish Creole. In English, it would be Creole. It's a language that is made out of different language, right? Creole is the language of many countries or places in the world. Even in Colombia, there is a place it's called San Andres, and their language is Creole, and it's something that is made out of different languages. Is that's what we want. We don't follow a rigid methodology or a square methodology, but we are taking things that nourish our school, and it's a school of movement, and it's in a natural place in Santa Elena that is close to Medellin, like 1 hour maybe from Medellin. And yeah, we are a small school, but like we are like family, trying to do things differently. Yeah. We What I love, for example, is that we work through projects that they choose. For example, right now we are into my group. It's they were interested in the sky during the day and during the night. So we are kind of studying clouds, rainbows, the stars, things like that, airplanes. And yeah, they are interested on that. Before we were studying about the water, like the rivers and the sea. So we were studying how to take care of the rivers or or yeah, the close um small, I don't know the name, like small rivers here. And yeah, it's called Creole, and that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Anna, for everybody listening us. Creole. um, I just want to let people know that there's not necessarily a unique path to education, neither a methodology that is perfect for humans, but the fact that we have more freedom to explore, it's what makes the path more interesting than the destination, that to have a perfect way or a unique or a truth, right, on what is the best way to do it, but rather let us explore. So that's pretty cool if they want to look around maybe some more. Do you have any maybe any name or anything that you can recommend to people to look up when they want to look at other alternative ways for education, many maybe any keyword or system that they can look upon just to finish our session?
Like what we follow or something, what uh for example, we right now we are studying a lot like the south, we call it the south epistemology. I don't know if that's a word in English. Epistemologías del sur. And it's like knowledge from South America or Africa or the south part of the world, right? Because sometimes we look like from like the language, sorry, the knowledge, came from like the north part of the world, and this is the knowledge that is acceptable. So right now we are working on it, trying to find like the way, like the other knowledge that was not in like in the schools. I don't know if
So kind of what you are saying is like what you are like going through your path now is when you say colonization. I guess that now we can relate to this. Like there was a way that Western civilization have an approach towards education that not necessarily suits the necessities or that connects with the roots of every other place in the world. That was just, as people say, the people that write the history is the people that won the war, right? So in a way, it's like it's an opportunity to recover or to discover or even create a new way to look upon education from the place that we have born, and from the influences that we have here, the flavors, the ingredients we have here, which is like when you are basically using the seeds that are the native seeds to the region. This is
yeah,
certain thing to
it's
do that.
talking about, for example, connection with nature. Also community is very important, not just individualism, but doing common things, and the common things are important as well. Also, don't do like a step by step, like also step by step, for example, like learning how to write or how to read. There is a way, it's called, oh, sorry, I don't know this in English. Okay, it's like you read the whole word, for example, and not like letter by letter, right? It's, but this is like a different way of learning how to read, and just show literature, interesting literature, that it's not just the literature that are in traditional schools, for example. And if they are interested in learning or read their own books, they are going to be very interested in reading. I don't know if you get my point. And that's what we do, and we've been seeing that it's working. Like I don't teach like this is letter L. Oh, no, this is this word, or this is this sentence, and they read it, and then they can like find it in other books or in other places, and it's so interesting. So
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of like I can't say there is a methodology, because there's not, but we are creating it like at school with them, and that's so interesting as well. So yeah, it's like there is something that's called active education, and new schools, escuela nueva, new schools, in Colombia and other countries. um, they have been working on it. It's like long time ago, I think, like many 4 years ago. And it's interesting, they are doing it in rural areas here in Colombia, and it's about like active education. It's like you put the knowledge or the things that you have to study, or the sorry, the competencias, like the tools you need to have. For example, in maths, right? Like you need to know how to add or how to do counts, because for example, if you're going to buy something, you need to know how much do they have to give you back, for example. So relate that to the place where you live or where you are, and that's active education. And doing things outside in nature or in your neighborhood, and maybe that
So
can be one methodology. And it's called new school in Colombia, or active education.
wow.
They can find it. It's
So
interesting.
active education, it's a way to have a common ground of knowledge that is practical and needed for life, but apply to the context which the people is living on, right? Kind
Yeah.
of that's how I got it. But definitely there is so much to unpack, and I can't believe it. Like it's funny because it's been years and we have really never spoke about these topics that much. So now I think I'm about to change the concept of my podcast. This time I'm about going while on interviewing my friends. I'm gonna start just discovering like there is just so much things that we have never talked in certain way because maybe we talk about other things. So now you spark my curiosity to have maybe deeper conversation with my friends upon topics I know that are important for them or they have already deep dive on them, and also seeing what I can come up with the tools I have. Also, what value I can give in exchange. For now, in this session, the value was for me and for most of the people. Like, okay, thanks so much. You have bring so many interesting and key topics. Just just coming from what you say, the first one is you got in love. Just a quick recap of what we spoke. The first one is that you got in love with the possibility of education as a key to open people's mind, not give a straight answer, just create more questions, but help people opening up their eyes, their mind, their senses to new possibilities, understand that their ideas might be valuable if they are courage enough to explore, if they thrive to explore upon them. Also, is a way to share, to create community, and it's a way to prepare the new generations as best as we can, right? That's one of the most important tasks that we have. At least next generations are better than us, and we have done at least some good job, hopefully in this earth. And besides that, we talk about how to spark curiosity, the ingredients that you have been using that so far have been working great, that have been working for you, that work upon me and upon many others. So now people, I hope they got interest upon this and might try their own ways to maybe share knowledge with their friends and the people, just trying out to spark curiosity rather than to give answers, and also seeing some interesting new approaches to education rather than a unique method. It's just an active exploration with a different perspective that allow people uh, maybe to look in a different way, like more adapt to the context of where we are coming, each one of us. And I'm very curious to explore more on those topics on the coming time. So for now, thank you so much, Anna, for this
Thank
amazing session.
you. Thank you, Nico.
I wish you a
Everyone.
wonderful night. And to everyone, thank you so much. It was the Life Hacker Podcast. This is Ana Isabel, and until next time.
Thank you. Bye.